with Alabama men's basketball taking on Tennessee and Knoxville as the #1 team in the country. You're rocking and rolling right here on the hottest show on the streets, bringing you your Crimson Tide football content. That being, in my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA, on a Wednesday hump day. Happy to have all of you guys in here. We bring you the show from the magic city of Birmingham. We stream this to you on YouTube. Speaking of a channel, go ahead right now, stop everything that you're doing, hit that subscribe button, smash subscribe, tap that subscribe button right now. Get every friend, every family member, diehard Bama fan, casual Bama fan, consumer of Tide football to subscribe as well. Also, don't forget to like the show. Tap that thumbs up button, hit the like button, raise those like levels up, give us a thumbs up here on the show. Try to start this thing out the gate. 50 likes here on the show. We appreciate the support coming from you guys. Also, that daily super chat goal, $100 daily. Super chat goal, $100 right there. All donations welcome and appreciated. Be sure to hit that notification bell so that way you get all of your updates. You miss nothing on your Crimson Tide football. We got quite a few things to discuss, dive into on this evening, and we want to hear from you, the outstanding fans of Bama football. You can do this by calling 205-448-1358. The number 2, call in, let your voice be heard on the show, 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. Want to hear from you guys. But John, we're going to get a topic number 1 here of the conversation. That is, a lot of major updates here. The Alabama football roster. in terms of spring practice coming up here in the next couple of weeks here, and also with the season in the fall. So big updates to the Alabama roster. The first one being several of the early enrollees from Alabama's 2023 class, they have made it to the roster, whether it's guys like Dylan Larnigan, Eli Holstein's on the roster, Olase Ganin's on the roster, Malik Benson's on the roster. All of the early enrollees, Justice Haynes is on the roster, Tony Mitchell's on the roster, Jaleel Hurley. Most of all of the early enrollees have made it to RollTide.com. They're on the roster, height, weight, everything, as these young men are set to go. So you go to RollTide.com, definitely check that out. All of the early enrollees, the spring guys, they are on the roster here for Alabama football. Also, Alabama's got a ton of depth on both sides of the football. When you look at several of the names from the 2022 class that chose to redshirt after this past season. Those names, a few of those guys, you look at quarterback Ty Simpson, chose to redshirt, only played in 4 games a season ago. So he was able to keep that redshirt year. You look at guys like Earl Little II, was able to redshirt. Elijah Pritchett, able to redshirt. Shaz Preston, able to redshirt. Traquan Fagans, able to redshirt. So quite a few of those guys that came in the 2022 class were able to redshirt. So they have a year of experience in the system. They have a year of experience in the strength and conditioning program. They know what the expectations are. They know how to handle things in Tuscaloosa. So this upcoming season, a lot of expectations on these guys to step up and perform. So Bama had quite a few guys from that 2022 class to take a red shirt, hang on to that red shirt year. So that creates a whole lot of depth there on both sides of the football. One of the big names that took a red shirt as a veteran player, you look at Justin Aboigbe, a defensive end. He came in the 2019 class from Forest Park High School in Georgia. And for Aboigbe, was starting off the season last year playing strong, disrupting plays, making things happen in the backfield, but unfortunately suffered a neck injury, had to have a procedure done there, which caused him to miss the remainder of the season. And instead of going to pursue the NFL draft, he decides to take the redshirt year and come back to Alabama. His name is on the roster, and with his presence being back, it's going to be huge to watch him take a lot of these young defensive linemen under his wing, but also put himself in position to be a high-round draft pick in the 2024 venue. As we move on here throughout the roster, 2 guys have shortened their names on the roster. You look at Jahmyr Miller, sophomore running back, and freshman defensive back Desmond Ricks. So Jahmyr Miller will now go by Jam Miller. So he will not go by Jamarian, he will go by Jam Miller. And with that being said, John, there needs to be an NIL deal coming out for him. I mean, whether it's Smuckers, whether it's the Bama Jelly, some type of NIL deal has to come out for that, because Jam Miller right there. And so for Desmond Ricks, he will go by Dez Ricks. So we have 2 young men who have shortened their names there on the roster. So you got that right there. And so last but not least, you got Emmanuel Henderson, who came in as a 5-star in the 2022 class from Geneva County High School here in the state of Alabama, and just a tremendous athlete out of high school. Last season, he served as a running back and wide receiver. He has made the full transition to solely be a receiver. It's now on RollTide.com. He is a sole receiver. That's his position for Emmanuel Henderson. So Alabama now has 5 scholarship running backs on the roster. When you discuss Jace McClellan, Roydell Williams, Jam Miller, Justice Haynes, and Richard Young. So Emmanuel Henderson completely now a wide receiver. But these are just all of the different updates here when you look at Alabama's spring football roster and going into next season. So the early enrollees are here. A lot of guys from the 2022 class chose to redshirt, so you got that depth there on both sides of the ball. You got some name changes with Jahmyr Miller, now Jam Miller, Desmond Ricks, now Dez Ricks, and Emmanuel Henderson. no longer a running back / receiver. He has made the full change to being a wideout on the perimeter. So just some things to keep your eyes on when spring football gets cranked back up and the fall season comes around in August, September. But we take our first break here on the show. Don't touch that dial. We're just getting started. Upon our return, we go to the phone lines. We grab your calls, your thoughts, your conversations. We get into a dialogue with you, the Bama fans, right after this.
What's up, Bama Nation? This is Rudy Griffin, former Alabama defensive lineman, and you're listening to my guy, Stephen M. Smith, in my own words, brought to you by Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Roll Tide, roll!
Look at all these great players in Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Man, wait till I turn up this year. I'm gonna be on the front cover. But what if Will goes off? Or Joe, DeMarco, Chris, Tim, Christian.
Don't wait. Order now at touchdownalabama.com or call 833-483-2624 today.
Christian or Jahmyr.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
All right, folks, we're back to the action from the break on the hottest show in these streets, talking Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Happy to have you guys here on a Wednesday hump day. Guys, shout out my man, Big Bill. Bill from New York with that $8 donation. Dropping the love there in the Super Chats. Dancing Stephen. Appreciating that right there. Continue to help us out right there on the show. That daily Super Chat go $100 there. Daily Super Chat go $100. Also continue to tap that like button. Show that support here to the show. And John, before we came back from the break, I was checking out this update. So according to ESPN's Adam Schefter, Jalen Hurts is looking at a hefty offseason payday. The contract extension is going to be north of $45 million. It could be more than that. But the contract extension for Jalen Hurts, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter, due to Jalen Hurts getting the Eagles to the playoffs, getting them all the way to the Super Bowl, came so close to winning that game, the offseason payday for Jalen Hurts, it will be north of $45 million. And according to Adam Schefter, that's only the starting point. It could actually be more than that. So we will see in the coming days here what the actual number will be that the Eagles will shell out there to Jalen Hurts after a tremendous year 3 he had with them. But we go to the phone lines to grab your calls. The call statement brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. But I'm going to call in and let your voice be made known, 205-448-1358. We grab this call. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hi, Stephen. Bill from New York. How you doing, brother?
Doing great, man. And yourself?
We're good. Got a couple of things I want to talk to you about. I really would like your opinion on them. Sometimes for me, it's easier to look back on things, than to see things when they're happening. I was thinking, in a way, I think we look great for next year. I want to talk a little about the quarterback situation. We have 4 guys. Any one of the 4 guys is, am I right, could be a potentially excellent quarterback. Any one of them. You know what I mean? And so what I wanted to ask you, I don't know as much about high school football as Justin or you or probably most of the people on this page. Is this Eli Holstein as good as he looks? I mean, tell me what you think of this guy. I watch him on YouTube. I can't believe some of his throws, and he can run, and he's big. You know what I mean? Is he as good as I think he is, Stephen?
I mean, coming out of high school in Louisiana, Bill, I mean, the guy is 6'4", almost 230. The guy's got a lot of skill. He's got a lot of skill. But the thing with Eli Holstein is going to be how quickly can you grab stuff, especially as a freshman. We've seen quite a few freshmen in years past. They come in as freshmen, but mentally they can grab stuff. They can grab stuff quick. We saw it with Jalen Hurts. We saw it with Tua Tagovailoa. We even saw it, Bryce Young, even sitting behind Mac Jones, was able to grab stuff pretty quickly. So how quickly can Eli Holstein grab the playbook, grab as much as Tommy Rees is going to teach to him? If he can grab a lot of stuff quick, it could be interesting to see what he does because, like you mentioned, the size is there. I mean, he's 6'4", he's 222. The size is there. You watch the high school clips, he's got an arm. It's how much can he grab in spring practice?
That's exactly what I think. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about is a theory I have on what Coach Saban's doing. I think that deep in his heart, even though he's better at adapting than anybody, he really is a guy who likes to run the football, and he likes these bruising lines. And I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled by the recruits we got, especially at guard. But here's the thing about it. Like in the pros, I've noticed that, like in the NFL, guards sometimes take a while to develop. Landon Dickerson, by the way, being a huge exception. That guy, if you saw the Super Bowl on those short yardage plays, he was mowing down people like a lawnmower. He was crushing those dudes. But they take a while to develop in the NFL, and I don't know if they do in college at the same, you know what I mean? I don't know if it takes them a while to develop in college either. But my thing is, with all these quarterbacks we have, if we could, you know what I mean? I trust the left tackle position. I like center. But I'm iffy about these other positions, although you told me about the guy you like at right tackle. I forget his name. But it looks like we might have another line. I think this last year's line, no disrespect to anybody, I think it was the worst one we've had in about 10 years. Not that they were bad, but they just weren't exceptional like we're used to. Am I wrong, Steven?
I mean, we look at last year's line, Bill. I mean, it was Bryce Young running for his life most of the time. You couldn't run the football the way you wanted to. And I look at with this upcoming season, start off with spring practice. I look at Coach Eric Wolford. All of these guys he's recruited, these are his guys. Miles McVay is his. Olas Enganin is his. Caden Proctor is his. Wilkin Formby is his. All of these guys have been recruited from this 2023 class. These are all Wolford's guys. So now we're going to get a first row seat of how good is he really as an O-line coach. Now, this group up front has a chance to be a really good group. Talent-wise, you got guys that are now 6'6", 6'7", 6'8" across the board, 315 pounds plus. You got some big dudes that have huge potential. But now, Eric Wolford, you were brought in to get this offensive line back to mauling people. You got the recruits that you wanted to have in here. Now we see, can he develop these guys?
Thank you, Stephen. Listen, I'm not going to keep you. Just want to thank you for doing such a great job and say hi to everybody in the board. God bless, brother.
Appreciate my man Bill from New York calling in on a Wednesday. I mean, John, this is going to be a big spring for Wolford. It is. Now, I think the best part is, though, having Tommy Rees as the offensive coordinator, and Tommy Rees and Eric Wolford can kind of bounce off of each other due to Tommy Rees is going to want to be balanced. He's going to want to run the football. A lot of his stuff that he did at Notre Dame, it was run game and then build off of that play action pass, take deep shots, sophisticated routes, get guys open, time things up a bit. But it all was predicated off a strong run game. So I think Wolford and Rees, they'll put something together where that's concerned because Rees is going to want to run, allow 12 personnel looks, 2 tight end sets, that type of deal. It's going to be fun to see what happens. But with all of these recruits in here, with all these signees in here that Wolford brought in, we're going to see firsthand, okay, how big time of an O-line coach is Eric Wolford. Now, he did do a solid job with Tyler Booker last season. He did. With J.C. Latham last season, he did, taking nothing away from that. Also continuing the growth of Seth McLaughlin. He did that as well. But now with having more of his guys that he handpicked going to be a very intriguing spring here for one Eric Wolford. But cool call topic right here, John. This one goes to Calvin Ridley, former Alabama wide receiver, two-time national champion 2015 and 2017. After serving a whole year suspension from the Atlanta Falcons in the 2022 season for betting on games in the 2021 season, and Calvin having to forfeit that $11.1 million salary he was going to make in 2022. Ridley also got traded from the Falcons to the Jacksonville Jaguars. The point being, after serving the 1-year suspension, he is eligible now. He can apply for reinstatement back into the league, and he's excited. He's excited to apply and have that application approved so he can get back to playing football. He would be back, at home in South Florida. He would be with the Jacksonville Jaguars, catching passes from Trevor Lawrence. Ridley is a South Florida native. Now, prior to the suspension and betting on games and all of that happening, Ridley took a step away from the NFL game after playing 5 matchups in 2021 due to mental health issues. But, therein lied the suspension shortly after. The good news is he is eligible. He can apply for reinstatement back into the league. So Ridley is happy about doing this. Happy about getting back to the game that he loves, the gridiron action, and hopefully he and Trevor Lawrence can turn some things up here for the Jacksonville Jaguars. But we take another break right here, folks. We'll touch that down upon our return. Alabama's new coaching hires, they are excited. They're ready to get to work. Can this trio of guys get Bama back to the college football playoff and, win that national championship? We'll talk about the 3 individuals right after this.
Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full-year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, people, we're back, rocking and rolling to the action right here on the hottest show on the streets, talking your Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Continue tapping the like button right there, giving us that thumbs up, liking the show right here. We've already got 50 likes, but let's go for 100. Stop all that you're doing. Be sure, hit that like button. Give us that thumbs up right there on the show. We definitely appreciate you guys for all that you do here. Before we get to our next topic, John, so Alabama's got 13 players invited to the NFL Scouting Combine. Among those guys, Bryce Young and Will Anderson headed up there to Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. You can check out the NFL Combine on the NFL Network. It'll be from March the 2nd through March 5th. From March the 2nd through March the 5th, you can see the 40-yard dash, the vertical jumps, broad jumps, on-field drills, the whole underwear Olympics. March 2nd through March the 5th, NFL Network, watching your favorite Bama guys out there, trying to up their draft status. So NFL Scouting Combine starting off at the latter portion of this month, but it'll be on NFL Network from March 2nd to March the 5th. But into this topic right here, and that being the coaching hires for Alabama. These 3 men are ready to get to work. They are ready to roll in trying to assist the Crimson Tide to get back to the college football playoff and try to win a national championship. Those 3 guys, Tommy Rees as the offensive coordinator, Kevin Steele as the defensive coordinator, and Austin Armstrong as the inside linebackers coach. All 3 guys hired, all 3 guys has been put to paper, all 3 guys on the RollTide.com website, all 3 guys ready to get this thing started. And starting off here with one Tommy Rees. I mean, the guy's bringing creativity, he's bringing balance, he's bringing energy, he's bringing a lot of motivation. I mean, I was watching a clip, John, on YouTube of Tommy Rees mic'd up at Notre Dame. I mean, him mic'd up, he was getting at the players, he was getting at the officials, he was relating to these players in terms of the music they listen to. I mean, just a guy that just loves being around players, loves coaching them, loves the scheme, loves the game plan, loves the schematics. I mean, the guy is going to bring a whole lot of passion into the room. And this is exactly what Alabama fans want, right? A guy that can relate to players, a guy that can coach them up correctly, a guy that's going to bring energy, fresh ideas, the ability to change and adjust on the fly if need be, being able to run the football the way it wants to, and even, barking at players if they're not getting the job or executing it properly. So that's what you're getting, Tommy Rees. You're getting a creative guy, you're getting an innovative guy, but you're also getting a guy that's going to promote balance, he's going to promote energy, he's going to promote motivation, and he's going to get the best out of especially the quarterback position, developing that room there for Alabama. In terms of Kevin Steele, Steele's just happy to be home. He knows the expectation of the Alabama football program. Started off in Tuscaloosa in 2007 as a defensive coordinator. He's going to simplify things versus Pete Golden, who was trying to be overly exotic and overly complex. I think Kevin Steele is going to really simplify it all down. See ball, get ball. There will not be a huge playbook. Kevin Steele will have it all the way down to, hey, we're going to run this, fly around the field, knock somebody's head off. Let's get back to just beating the guy in front of you, owning your box, dominating your box, destroying the guy in front of you, and just attacking the ball. Being an aggressive, mean, physical, fast, flying around the field defense. He's going to get it back to being simplified out there on the field. And you go back to the 5 years he was at Auburn, coordinating that defense from 2016 to 2020. 4 of those years, Auburn had a top 20 scoring defense. Steele helped 14 players go to the NFL draft, including multiple first-round picks. So he knows exactly what he's doing, and getting him back in Tuscaloosa, where he helped the development of guys like Reuben Foster, Rashaan Evans, Christian Miller, Sean Dion Hamilton. He helped the development of all of those guys. So to get a Kevin Steele back in here who's ready to get to work, he's excited. A lot of history with Coach Saban. He knows what Coach Saban wants. He knows what the fans want. He knows what this program wants and needs, and he's ecstatic about getting it back to that point. It's going to be very intriguing to watch what Steele does and his philosophy in terms of spring football in the upcoming season. Last but not least here, Austin Armstrong is just so intriguing to me. Played his college ball at Huntington College out in Montgomery, so Alabama native, a guy that has spent time at several different programs, set up under Kirby Smart in 2019 as a defensive quality control coach at Georgia, turned Louisiana Lafayette and Southern Miss, turned both of those two defenses around. Did a phenomenal job with both of those two defenses. And at 32 years of age, he's a defensive whiz guru, a guy that's growing quickly, rapidly within the coaching world. And he mentioned how he's overjoyed to be a part of this coaching staff. He's overjoyed to be a part of this roster. He's overjoyed to be a part of this team working with inside linebackers. And I think he's got the toughest job, because that's the one position that a lot of you as fans are saying, we're not dominant there. We're not tough there. We're not physical there. We're not striking fear into people at the inside linebacker position. The last duo of inside linebackers that literally struck fear and caused chaos and had opponents pushing the panic button, that would have to be 2017, and the duo of Rashaan Evans and Sean Dion Hamilton. Now, when you've got guys like Deontay Lawson and Kendrick Blackshire, they got the potential to have opponents back to pushing that panic button. But you got to have the coach that brings it all out of them. And I think Austin Armstrong, from his experience, throughout all that he's been coaching inside linebackers, I think he can bring it all out of Blackshire, out of Deontay Lawson, out of Jahan Campbell, Sean Murphy, Tresman Marshall, Justin Jefferson, all of those guys in that inside linebacker room. Quay Russell, throw him in there as well. That guy's a freak show how big he is, but Quay Russell, you throw him in there also. But Armstrong, Steele, Tommy Reese, all three of these guys, they're ready to get to work. They're about Bama. They're excited to be here. They're ready to get to work and get this thing back to where Nick Saban wants it at. So, once again, spring practice coming up here next couple of weeks, few weeks. I'm excited to get back out here to watch the philosophy of all three of these guys at work. Then most importantly, what they do in fall camp, what they do in the upcoming season here in the fall. But we take another break here, folks. Won't touch that down because upon our return, we get back to the phone lines. We take your calls, your thoughts, your conversations. We speak to you, the Bama Nation, right after this.
Chris Rogers, 2009 national champion. You are listening to the baddest, when I say the baddest, sports show in the state of Alabama. In my own words, yours truly, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Don't touch that dial.
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
All right, folks, we're rocking here with you to the action from the break. Hottest show on the streets. We're talking Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Continue tapping that like button one time, running those likes up, making this your show, your network platform, channel, and space to talk Crimson Tide. Also, all donations welcome. All donations appreciated. That daily super chat go $100 daily. Super Chat go $100 right there. But before we get in the phone lines to take your calls here, our own John Ivory has put together a poll in the chat for you guys to interact with. And the poll question is, at the positions listed, which one has you the most concerned? He's got defensive line in there. He's got wide receiver in there. He's got offensive line in there. I can't quite see the other position in there, but he's got D-line, O-line, just D-line, O-line, DB, wide receiver. So, which position group has you the most concerned as an Alabama fan? Right now, it seems like wide receiver is actually winning with 45% of the vote. Well, over 40% of the vote here is going to that wide receiver room. So continue to interact there with the poll. Which position group has you the most concern right now in terms of Alabama football when you look at spring practice and the upcoming season? But and we go to the phone lines, we grab this call, 205-448-1358, number to call in, 205-448-1358. You are live on the show. What's going on? How are you feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Roll Tide, Stephen. Roll Tide from Chile, Denison, Iowa. What's happening?
Doing great, William. Cannot complain here, man. I mean, you got all three coaches. They're excited about being in Tuscaloosa. Tommy Rees, Kevin Steele, Austin Armstrong. They're ready to put their philosophy in order. You got the entire Bama roster's been updated, so all the freshmen who enrolled early, they're on the roster. All the guys that chose to redshirt last year, they're on the roster, having that redshirt year. You got a couple of guys that decided to shorten their names a little bit on the roster. Emmanuel Henderson has gone from running back to wide receiver, so some interesting things there on the roster, but it all means that spring practice is almost here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll make to get this ball rolling next year. There was a question in the chat, and I just thought of bringing it up to you because I didn't really know the answer. But have we got a safeties coach yet, or do you know?
That right now, there's not been a hire made for safeties coach yet. It could come within the next couple of days or so, in the next week or so, but there has not been a hire yet for safeties coach. So that's the only on-field spot that does not have a coach yet.
Okay. I just want your thoughts on this, since we're on this subject anyway. With Minka Fitzpatrick, was most of that his doing, or do you think it was the safeties coach got him as good as he was then?
Well, I'll say this. What made Minka so good was when Minka came out of high school in 2015 out of St. Peter's Prep in New Jersey, a lot of the concepts that Alabama ran, Minka had some of those same concepts in high school. So he came in already kind of knowing what to do, as a freshman. That's why, Saban was so impressed with him. Now, of course, the coach at Alabama, it definitely helped Minka, especially when you have Mel Tucker, coaching the defensive back. So that was a good thing for him. But a lot of Minka's success came from a high school where a lot of the concepts that were run at Alabama, Minka was running those in high school.
Have some like him anyway. If not already on there, then maybe we'll get him anyway. I'm just gonna get off here and let somebody else on. Roll Tide, brother.
Appreciate my man William calling in from Iowa right there. We grabbed this call. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Yo, what's up, Steve? This is Jason from Tennessee.
What's going on, man?
Not much, man. I'm just getting excited for this season coming up here.
Absolutely. I am pumped up for spring football, getting that back in here and seeing these coaches, these players, this A-Day game coming up, and definitely next fall where this team is trying to get back to the college football playoff and win a championship.
Yes, sir. That's exactly what we need to do. I was wanting to get your take on one thing, man.
Go ahead.
I know the old saying goes that the two quarterback system don't work in college football. But if you can remember back in the day, the combination of Brody Croyle and Tyler Watts wreaked havoc on defenses. So what would you think if early in the season they went with a two quarterback format? Because you've got Milroe. He had the bad game, sort of, against A&M, but that kid's got a ton of potential. And Ty Simpson, this guy can get the ball down the field. If you could manage to keep both of those players happy without one of them transferring, I see some big things happening.
Jason, I could see it. I really could see it, and I like the touch there that you brought with Brody Croyle and with Brody Croyle and Tyler Watts there. My thing is always, and people have this saying in this theory: if you're playing two quarterbacks, does it mean that you really don't trust one of them, or you don't trust both of them because you're playing two of them? It's just a theory that so many people have. Now, I'm not against it. Especially early on in the season, you play both of them. You see, which one does the team ride so more with, and you get both of them that experience early. I wouldn't be against it. We saw that to open the 2016 season with Saban trotting Blake Barnett out there, but he still played Jalen Hurts too. And it ended up that Hurts became the guy. So I could see it. It's just, does Nick Saban pull that? I don't think so, but it wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah, I would just hate this. I would hate to lose either one of them because I think each one of them have a ton of potential.
I mean, they both do. I mean, Milrose is a dynamic athlete. Ty Simpson, 5-star coming in from high school in last year's class. He was the Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of Tennessee for a reason. So they both have immense potential.
Yes, they do, man. But I don't want to hold you up, man. I want to see Alabama get back to the dominant football team they once were. Roll Tide. God bless you. You have a good day, man.
Appreciate Jason calling in from Tennessee right there. We take this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Steve, what's up with you, man? This is Jay from Sheffield.
Jay, what's happening, man?
Good, man. I agree with your last caller, man. I think a 2-quarterback system, if we do run it, I think that'll be wonderful because with Jalen Hurts on the field, I can see you got that threat of a running quarterback, but then you could put more receivers on the field and have him use like the quick slants and the quick outs in the RPO game. But then you got Ty where you could just pound the rock. And since we do feel like he's a better passer, just throw that baby deep. I mean, it could work either way, but man, whoever wins, it's gonna be. I mean, they gonna be driving a heck of a car because you got every weapon you need. The offensive line next year, I feel like gonna be amazing. Like I feel like it should be amazing. I should say that because I mean we got talent at every position. Then our backups even talented at that. And D-line should be great. Like everything should be great next year. My biggest concern will really be like the safeties. Like who you feel start next year? The safeties in the position Brian Branch plays. Who you see?
Okay, so safeties right now, I would go. Safeties right now, I would go. Give me hang-up downs at one spot. Give me hang-up downs at one spot, and then give me either Terrion Arnold at the other spot or Christian Story. And I would have Malachi Moore and Brian Branch's spot.
You know what I'm saying? See, now we just bypassing guys like Devontae Smith. I think he's gonna be a dog back there at the safety position.
I like him too. I like him. Then you got Jake Pope who's gonna be battling in there. You got a ton of guys that are gonna be battling off in there. And that to me, that's the position of if you can get all 5, 6 DBs that can all run, that can all cover, and that can all lock down, the secondary can be very fun to watch. I mean, it's great to have Kool-Aid back, and Kool-Aid's got experience. Good to have Kool-Aid back. But if you can lock down 5 to 6 DBs that can run, cover, hit, fly around, the secondary is going to be fun to watch.
The good thing about hiring a defensive coordinator like we did, man, Kevin gonna keep it real simple. But with the simple, he gonna throw in them crazy adjustments like a safety playing right beside the defensive end for some reason. Oh, now you can't get to the edge as fast. You see what? We knew that screen was coming. Like Auburn defense was pretty good doing that little stretch where he was there. Like I don't think Bama fans really going back and looking at what that man was doing. That man, Derrick Brown, come on now. That man was a tap dancing bear who single-handedly beat us that game when Mac Jones threw them interceptions. You see, he almost intercepted the ball at the end of the game.
I'm going to say this. Kevin Steele made Smoke Monday look good.
Come on now. Like, see, we about to see really what we've been dying to see out of all of these athletes that we get. We ain't never seen the whole field covered in 5 stars because Pete wasn't thinking like that. We ain't never seen just creativity. What Reuben Foster say? Man, we had like 3 or 4 plays, man. Man, what? That was perfect to hear because you knew that them folks knew what to do, when to do it, and how to do it, Steve. It was just that simple. This is what we doing on this play. Oh, it's a motion. Okay, I already know what to do with the motion. Not turn to the sideline, look to the safeties, and all of this. And like, come on, that's just too much. I hope Bama get back to dominating the line of scrimmages, Steve. That's where it's gonna all start. We got the right coordinators, and I told you we had to be set up for the decade. And when Austin Armstrong, that's what Nick did, Steve. He set us up. He still here for the retirement money for the state of Alabama. He got to work 10 years. He got 9. Hey man, this a homeboy hire. So Pruitt come in, then Austin, you know what I'm saying, whoever next, they sitting right there, Steve. So he set us up perfect. Roll Tide, I love y'all, man.
Appreciate Jay from Sheffield calling into the show on a Wednesday. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Appreciate all of you guys getting your calls in, letting your thoughts be made known here on the show. Going to go to our next call topic here, John. Another guy that is in the NFL Scouting Combine, another guy that could be a first-round draft pick for Alabama, at being running back Jahmyr Gibbs, who finished last season 926 rushing yards, 7 rushing touchdowns, 44 catches, led the team, 444 receiving yards, 3 scores, for a total of 10 touchdowns on last season. And according to Mike Golick Jr., former ESPN analyst, he compared Gibbs to Alvin Kamara, who's currently in the National Football League. And quite a few people have compared Gibbs' game to Kamara's. There's a ton of similarities between both the two. Both guys, speed on the outside, acceleration, very explosive on the perimeter, can catch the ball in the backfield, do big work as receivers in terms of that regard. And then both guys, they can give you something on special teams as well. So when you look at today's running back, people are looking for that next Christian McCaffrey, that next Alvin Kamara, that next guy that can do it all out there on the field. And Jahmyr Gibbs looks to prove that he is next in terms of doing it all on the field. But we take our final break here, folks. Don't touch that down. When we get back, there's just so much conversation about Bryce Young being the number 1 overall pick. Like all draft pundits, all NFL media experts, they're saying Bryce Young, number 1 overall pick here for April's draft. But who's the team that may pull the trigger on this? We'll talk about it after this.
Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, folks, we're back at it again from the break to the action. Hottest show on these streets. We're talking your Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Happy to have you guys in here. We're 17 likes from 100. Tap the like button. Hit that like button. Run those likes up. We appreciate you guys making this your show, your network, your spot to talk Crimson Tide football. Also, all donations welcome. All donations appreciated right here on the show. And John, so we look at Bryce Young. Everybody's talking about him now. Todd McShay, Mel Kiper Jr. I mean, everybody's talking. I mean, Dan Orlovsky, everybody's talking in terms of the NFL. When you look at, could Bryce Young be the number 1 overall pick? And the NFL media, they are talking up Young being the number 1 pick. You look at Todd McShay. He's saying, Will Levis has a big arm. C.J. Stroud had a great year at Ohio State. Anthony Richardson is athletically gifted, but Bryce Young's just different. He is just something different about Bryce Young. Mel Kiper Jr. stated, of all my years of draft scouting, I've never seen a quarterback process things the way Bryce Young does. You look at Dan Orlovsky. He's saying, man, this Bryce Young dude, he can flat out ball. He can flat out play. I know people will nitpick his weight, but he's good. He's so good. He's Steph Curry good. Like, everybody is talking up Bryce being the number one pick, and for obvious reasons. I mean, we saw what he did at Alabama. 2 years as a starter. He set single-season records. He set several school records. He ended his career number 2 all-time for career passing yards, number 2 all-time for touchdown passes, number 2 all-time for total scores, a 2-time team captain, won the Heisman Trophy in 2021. So that the guy did everything you could possibly imagine for him to do at the University of Alabama. Unfortunately, did not walk away with the national championship as a starting quarterback, but everything else, he got that done and checked off all those boxes. Now, people will nitpick his weight. I mean, they'll nitpick it. Well, he's only 180 pounds. He's only 190-something pounds. He's been working with a nutritionist, okay? So he's trying to get himself up to that over 200-pound mark, 200-plus pound mark. I think he's trying to get to 216 pounds. So, I mean, with his frame at 6 feet, if he can get between 216, maybe 220, keep the athleticism, the explosive ability to move around, be nifty in the pocket, be deceptive with his feet there in the pocket. If he can be 220 at 6 feet and still keep all of the tools, the athleticism that he has as a passer, I mean, Bryce is going to be deadly. Bryce Young will be deadly in the league. He can keep all of the tools, but gain up to 220 pounds. Now, the question is going to be, which team takes Bryce if he is indeed the number 1 overall pick? Because you have to look at, the Indianapolis Colts are starting to show interest. Owner Jim Irsay kind of let the cat out of the bag by saying, hey, that Alabama guy looks good, referring to Bryce Young. And I grew up a die-hard Colts fan. I did. I grew up Peyton Manning, Edgerrin James, Reggie Wayne, Marvin Harrison, Brandon Stokely, Dallas Clark, all those guys. I grew up watching all of those guys play. Dwight Freeney, I was a diehard Colts fan. And, one by one, my guys left me, one by one. So I'm looking at Jim Irsay. Is he trying to make this thing back right? By getting to Bryce Young, Indy has the number 4 overall pick. But will they trade up to get him? You look at the Houston Texans. Do the Texans take Bryce Young there with DeMeco Ryans as the head coach? I mean, who makes that move to get Bryce Young? I mean, that's going to be the biggest storyline from now up into the draft. But you got some people that compare Bryce to Drew Brees, and I can see that from the accuracy standpoint and the height standpoint. But others are comparing Bryce Young to Patrick Mahomes in terms of the ability to create just so many throws with his arm, with his mechanics, with his ability to manipulate the pocket in the way that Mahomes does it as well. So it's going to be intriguing. It's going to be highly intriguing. I'm interested to see, how Bryce performs at the combine. If he, depending on how much will he do at the combine. But everybody now, you're starting to see more and more people talk Bryce Young, number 1 overall pick. And remember here, Coach Saban, he has yet to produce the number 1 overall pick during his coaching tenure for the Crimson Tide. So Bryce Young has a shot here to put another big feather in Coach Saban's cap. We will see if that comes into fruition there. But as always, Bama Nation, you want the best in news, notes, information, and coverage here on your favorite program, that being the Crimson Tide. You can get this by accessing the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app. Now, you download the app from the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple. Google Play Store if you got the Android phone. Now, for your audio needs, hear this right here. We got you. iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, Google Play, or iHeartRadio. The good and gracious Lord sees fit. I'll try to be back on Friday, continuing the conversation that is Bama football. Remember, Tide fans, you can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama magazine. Have those sent to your door. That link will be found in the description. If you're trying to get your hands on the fresh edition, print edition of TDA the magazine, here's what you do. You go to touchdownalabama.com. You click join, become a member or a subscriber today. That link is found in the description too. Gotta shout out you guys, the outstanding fans of Bama football, for all the calls, all the chats, all the likes, all the love here that you show us on the show, making this your space to talk Bama football. Guys, shout out Don Parker with that $20 donation in the Super Chats. Appreciate the love there coming from one Don Parker. Guys, show that love here to my man John Ivory in the production studio, handling the thing from behind the scenes. And until next time, folks, husbands, love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands, children. You guys continue doing the right thing, fun thing, smart thing, good thing, legitimate thing to not be bored there. Be sure to get yourself those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. You protect yourself. You protect the loved ones around you. Continue to enjoy the Alabama-Tennessee basketball game on tonight. Hopefully the Crimson Tide pulls it out. Until next time, folks, I'm your man, Stephen M. Smith, and you've been listening to In My Own Words.